Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into a topic that I think you guys are going to find really interesting, the CFA designation. We've heard from a lot of you that finance and investing are, super important to you, and so we thought this would be a great deep dive. We've got some really insightful excerpts here ready to go.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, and we're going to break down exactly what the CFA program is all about.
Exactly. So, the CFA, it stands for Chartered Financial Analyst. And it's it's a globally respected credential, and it's awarded by the CFA Institute.
So like joining a league of, like financial masterminds, is that what you're saying?
Well, you could say that, yeah, it's a signal to the world that you have the knowledge, the skills, and, that ethical grounding to really excel in finance.
Okay, so I'm intrigued, but like what does this journey to becoming a CFA charter holder, what does that actually look like?
So it's a pretty rigorous self-study program. It spans 3 levels. You've got level I, level 2, and level 3, and each level culminates in a pretty challenging 6-hour exam.
6 hours? Wow.
Yeah, and level 3, they even throw in essay questions and case studies to really make sure you know what you're talking about.
Wow. Okay, so 6 hours, that's longer than most Marvel movies,
Right.
so it sounds like they really want to put your knowledge to the test.
Yeah, they do, but it's not about, just memorizing a bunch of facts and figures. The CFA program is really designed to give you a deep understanding of investment principles and, and practices. Think of it as building a solid foundation for making informed decisions, financial decisions, whether it's for yourself or for your clients.
So it's like you're actually applying what you learn and not just passing a test. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of what you learn, the curriculum covers a really wide range of topics, everything from ethics and quantitative methods to, understanding different types of investments like stocks and bonds, and even things like derivatives and alternative investments like real estate or private equity.
Whoa, okay, there's a lot to unpack there. Can you give me like a concrete example? Let's say I'm thinking about investing in a tech startup, but I have no idea where to even begin. How would the CFA program help me in that type of situation?
Yeah, it's a perfect scenario where, the CFA program could really empower you. Imagine being able to confidently analyze the startup's financial statements.
Yeah.
And really understand their business model. That's where financial reporting and analysis skills come in.
Okay, yeah, that'd be helpful. But investing in startups, that can be risky, right?
Absolutely. And that's where the knowledge you gain about, different asset classes and valuation techniques and risk management would really come into play.
Yeah.
You could use the tools and frameworks in the program to really assess, the potential risk and rewards of that investment.
So instead of just blindly jumping in, I could make like a calculated decision based on what I've learned.
Exactly. And on top of that, you'll also gain valuable insights into portfolio management and, wealth planning, which are crucial for achieving those long-term financial goals.
So this is starting to sound less like a financial exam and more like a roadmap to financial success.
Yeah, I like that.
But tell me, what's with all this talk about ethics? Is there like a separate ethics course or something?
So ethics is actually woven into every single aspect of the CFA program, from the curriculum to the code of ethics and standards of professional conduct, that every charter holder has to adhere to.
So it's not just about being smart, it's about doing the right thing.
Yeah, it's about integrity. It's about
Yeah.
responsibility and putting your client's interests first. That ethical foundation is a key reason why the CFA designation is so highly regarded globally.
It sounds like they're really trying to create well-rounded financial professionals who can be trusted. But tell me, are there any hands-on requirements? Like, do you have to actually do anything besides just, study and take these exams?
Absolutely. So you also need real-world experience to become a CFA charter holder. The CFA Institute requires at least 4 years of relevant work experience in, investment decision-making or related roles.
Okay, so it's not just theoretical knowledge, it's real-world application as well.
It's all about bridging the gap between theory and practice, ensuring that, CFA charter holders are ready to hit the ground running.
Okay.
So you ready to dive into the details of the curriculum? This is where things start to get really interesting.
I am. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, so let's break down those 3 levels, level I, level 2, and level 3, because each one kind of builds upon the last. It's kind of like leveling up in a video game, but for finance.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, so level I really gives you like those essential building blocks, the investment tools, valuation methods, and the basics of portfolio management. You'll get to grips with things like different asset classes, understanding financial statements, those crucial quantitative methods.
So like after level, I can impress everyone at parties by knowing the difference between a stock and a bond.
You'll know a lot more than that, but yeah, understanding different asset classes is key. So level 2, it takes those concepts and ramps up the complexity. It's
Yeah.
all about asset valuation and like in-depth financial analysis. Imagine being able to pick apart a company's financial statements and, truly understand their performance.
So more than just knowing what a financial statement is, it's like knowing what it's actually saying.
Right. It's about connecting the dots and seeing the story behind the numbers. And you'll also learn to value different investments,
Hmm.
not just theoretically, but in a way that you can apply to real world decisions.
So if someone tells me, that a company is undervalued, I'll actually be able to like figure out if they're right.
You'll have the tools to form your own conclusions, which
Yeah.
is, far more valuable than to taking someone's word for it.
For sure.
Right.
Okay, so I'm starting to see how all of this builds together. So what about level 3? What makes it like the final challenge?
So level 3 is where you take everything you've learned and you step into the role of a portfolio manager. It's about strategy, it's about asset allocation, managing risk, and building a portfolio designed to achieve specific goals.
Hmm.
This is where you really prove you can, apply those CFA skills.
So less about individual stocks and more about like the big picture.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Levels I and I, they give you the ingredients, they give you the techniques, and level 3 is where you create the gourmet meal, the investment strategy.
I like that. Okay, so we've talked about, these broad topics, but can you give me like an example of how a specific concept might kind of evolve across these 3 levels?
Sure. Let's take bonds, for example.
Mm.
In level I, you'll learn the fundamentals of bond valuation.
Okay.
Then in level 2, you'll explore more advanced concepts like, yield curve strategies, how interest rate risk impacts bond portfolios, and how to actually construct a fixed income portfolio.
So it's getting like more nuanced and strategic.
Precisely. And then by level 3, you'd be using that knowledge to make decisions about how bonds fit into a larger investment strategy. Considering factors like the client's risk tolerance and financial goals.
Okay, this is really painting a clear picture for me. But before we get too carried away with all of this, all this great content, remind me again about the format of those infamous 6-hour exams.
Yes, the exams. So for levels I and 2, it's all multiple choice,
Okay.
which, makes sense considering the breadth of material they need to cover.
Yeah, that's a lot of material to cover.
Right. But I recall you mentioned something about essays for level 3.
Yeah, didn't you say that?
That's right.
Yeah.
Level 3, they want to see not only the right answers, but that you can, clearly explain your reasoning and defend your investment strategy.
So it's about being able to communicate those, complex ideas effectively.
Exactly. It's one thing to understand a concept, but being able to articulate it clearly and persuasively, that's crucial in the real world of finance.
That makes sense. I imagine that would be vital, when you're explaining recommendations to clients or colleagues or, whoever you're working with.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, the case study portion of the level 3 exam, where you're presented with a real world scenario
Yeah.
and you have to analyze it like you're a portfolio manager,
Yeah.
making recommendations for a client.
So it's like the ultimate test of how well you can apply everything you've learned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It simulates the kind of challenges that you'll face in a real world, financial setting.
Okay, so it's clear that this program is no walk in the park, but the CFA Institute doesn't just, hand you a stack of books and wish you luck, right? There must be resources to help candidates along the way.
You're absolutely right. The CFA Institute, they provide a wealth of support, including official study materials, online learning platforms, and even mock exams to help you gauge, your preparedness. And don't underestimate the power of local CFA societies.
Oh, yeah, we talked about, the community aspect earlier. What role do those local societies actually play?
Think of them as your on-the-ground support system. They offer networking events, workshops led by experienced professionals, and even study groups where you can, connect with fellow candidates who are going through the same journey.
So it's like a built-in network of mentors and peers who can share their insights and experiences.
Exactly. It's a valuable resource that can help you stay motivated, get your questions answered, and ultimately, succeed in the program.
That's great. So,
Well, this has been a really insightful look into the structure and challenges of the CFA program, but I think the burning question on everyone's mind is, what are the real-world benefits? What kind of doors does this designation actually open?
now that's what we'll unpack next. The career possibilities for CFA charter holders are vast and exciting.
Okay, so let's talk about, career paths. What can someone actually do with a CFA charter in hand?
Well, it's not just about opening doors. It's about having like a whole range of doors to choose from.
The CFA designation is highly sought after in finance. It signals a deep understanding of the field, a commitment to ethical conduct, a strong work ethic, all the things that employers are looking
Oh, I
for.
see. So walk me through some of those career paths. Like, what are some common roles for CFA charter holders?
One path that many find appealing is portfolio management.
Yeah.
Imagine being responsible for making investment decisions for individuals, institutions, or even managing, mutual funds. You'd be analyzing market trends, researching companies, building portfolios aligned with specific financial goals.
Yeah. So it sounds like being a financial architect, like designing and managing those investment structures.
Yes, exactly.
What about someone who like loves research and analysis? What could they do?
They might thrive as a research analyst. These are the financial detectives. They're digging deep into companies and industries, uncovering hidden value, potential risks. Their insights are crucial for, portfolio managers, investment banks, hedge funds,
Yeah.
anyone making, informed decisions.
So they're the ones separating the investment gems from the fool's gold.
Precisely. Their research helps others make smart investment choices.
Okay.
And then there's the role of a financial advisor, which takes a more personal approach. They guide individuals through their financial journeys, helping them plan for retirement, save for college, or achieve, other financial goals.
So I imagine that, the ethical grounding from the CFA program is especially important in that role.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Building trust with clients and acting in their best interests is paramount. The CFA designation really underscores that commitment to ethical conduct and, fiduciary responsibility.
So it's about more than just numbers. It's about, people and their financial well-being.
Yeah.
So what about those who are drawn to the world of like risk?
Okay, so that's where risk managers come in. They're the ones identifying, analyzing, and mitigating financial risks for organizations of all kinds, banks, insurance companies, corporations. Their expertise helps protect assets and ensure financial stability in a world full of uncertainty.
So they're the ones who kind of keep things from going off the rails, like the protectors of financial health.
Exactly. And then finally, we have the investment strategists, the big picture thinkers who develop long-term investment plans and strategies. They need to stay ahead of the curve, anticipate market shifts, and, make decisions that can have a significant impact.
So it sounds like they need a combination of analytical skills, creativity, and, like a deep understanding of the global financial landscape.
It's a challenging but rewarding role.
Yeah.
And the beauty of the CFA designation is that it's not limited to, just one industry. The skills and knowledge you gain can be applied to corporate finance, real estate, private equity, venture capital, you name it.
So it's like having a passport to the world of finance, with the freedom to explore different areas and industries.
Precisely, you're not limited to Wall Street or a specific sector. The possibilities are truly vast.
That's amazing. So this is all incredibly inspiring, but for someone just starting out, the journey to becoming a CFA charter holder might seem really daunting. What advice would you give to someone who's feeling a little overwhelmed by the prospect?
Well, remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
Don't let the enormity of the program discourage it.
Yeah.
You break it down into manageable steps, focus on building, a solid foundation, and celebrate your achievements along the way.
And remember all the resources we talked about, the CFA Institute, local societies, study groups, they're all there to support you.
Yeah. Lean on those resources, connect with fellow candidates, seek out mentorship, and don't be afraid to ask questions. The CFA community is full of people who've been in your shoes and are eager to help.
Yeah, it's about having, a network, a support system to help you through the challenges and, celebrate the wins.
Exactly. And the rewards are worth the effort, the knowledge, the skills, the credibility of the network. It all comes together to, open doors and empower you to achieve your financial goals, whatever they may be.
Well, this deep dive has been incredibly insightful. We've unpacked what the CFA program is, explored the curriculum, the exams, the resources, the incredible career opportunities it can unlock. I mean, there's so much here.
It's been a pleasure sharing this journey with you.
Yeah, to our listener, I hope this has given you a clear understanding of the CFA designation and, all the exciting possibilities it holds, whether you're looking to break into finance, climb the corporate ladder, or simply become a more informed investor. The CFA program can really equip you with the knowledge and skills to succeed.
So embrace the challenge, explore your options, and pursue your financial aspirations with confidence.
Great advice. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the world of knowledge and discovery.